The Zephyrian trade vessel Stellar Wind limped into the outer rim station with its engines barely functioning, trailing plasma like a wounded animal. Captain Vexstar's 4 eyes cycled through the visible spectrum in distress as he watched the human mechanics gathered around the docking bay, their primitive tools gleaming under the harsh station lights. "Are you certain about this?" His engineer, Kewellis, chittered nervously. "Humans are primitive. Their technology is centuries behind ours." Vexstar's mandibles clicked in resignation. "We have no choice. The nearest Zephyrian shipyard is 3 systems away, and we'll never make it with these engines." The human who approached their ship looked unremarkable, average height, wearing stained coveralls and carrying what appeared to be an ancient metal toolbox. His name tag read Jake Chen, and he had the kind of confident stride that came from years of solving impossible problems. "What seems to be the trouble?" Jake asked, running his hand along the ship's hull with the familiarity of someone who spoke fluent machinery. Vexstar explained their predicament. The quantum resonance chamber had developed a cascade failure, limiting their top speed to barely 0.3 c. Their cargo of rare crystalline matrices needed to reach the Andromeda trade hub within the week, or the contract would be void. Jake nodded thoughtfully, then did something that made both aliens recoil. He listened to the engine, pressing his ear against the hull. He moved along its length like a doctor examining a patient. "I see the problem," he said finally. "Your quantum chamber's harmonics are fighting each other. You've got beautiful engineering here, but it's too polite." "Polite?" Kewellis's translator struggled with the concept. "Yeah. Everything's perfectly balanced, perfectly tuned. But sometimes, you need a little chaos to make things sing." Jake's eyes lit up with the particular gleam that made other species nervous around humans. "Mind if I take a look inside?" What Jake found was a marvel of Zephyrian engineering, crystalline conduits that channeled energy with 99.7% efficiency, quantum processors that calculated faster than light, and containment fields so stable they could run for centuries without adjustment. It was perfect. It was also boring. "Here's what we're going to do," Jake announced, pulling out what looked like primitive electromagnetic coils and several components that Kewellis couldn't identify. "We're going to give your ship a little personality." Over the next 6 hours, Jake worked with an intensity that fascinated and terrified his alien clients. He didn't just repair, he improved. He introduced microvariations in the quantum field harmonics, installed feedback loops that would have made Zephyrian engineers faint, and added what he called aggressive energy recycling. "This is madness," Kewellis whispered, as Jake jury-rigged a plasma compression system using spare parts from a dozen different ships. "The tolerances alone." "Tolerances are for people who don't understand their machines," Jake replied, calibrating something with a tool that was definitely not designed for quantum mechanics. "Your ship wants to go fast. I'm just going to let it." When Jake finished, the stellar wind didn't just purr, it roared. The quantum chamber now sang in harmonics that shouldn't have been stable, but somehow were. The plasma drives didn't just propel, they launched. During the test run, Captain Vexstar watched in stunned silence as his ship achieved 1.7 c, nearly double its original maximum speed. The human had taken their precision instrument and turned it into a magnificent, barely controlled beast. "How?" was all Vexstar could manage. Jake wiped his hands on his coveralls and grinned. "Sometimes the best engineering isn't about making things perfect, it's about making them alive." Your ship didn't need repair, it needed to remember how to dream. As the stellar wind departed, leaving a brilliant streak across the star field, Jake was already examining the next ship in line, a Corvallian freighter with impossible engine problems. The universe, he reflected, needed more humans willing to make perfect things, beautifully imperfect.